Good morning. I'm State Senator Sharif Street, and I'm pleased to be with you today. I want to thank our friends from the Diasporic Alliance for Cannabis Opportunities, Mayor Kenny, Representative Rabb, Councilman Green, and all of our other stakeholders who are with us today. The opportunities associated with cannabis are those that come along not often in a generation. Those opportunities will be numerous and diverse. They will include the opportunity for people to get treated in a way through medical marijuana that relieves illnesses for which there are not a lot of other good options. It will allow people to have pain mitigation in ways that are not addictive, and will therefore reduce the likelihood of people becoming addicted to dangerous opioids. It will help people deal with chronic ailments like achy joints or stress and anxiety. And those are just a few of the medically related benefits, some of which can be addressed through our medical marijuana program, and some of which can be addressed through CBD oils or other hemp cannabinoid-related products, some of which will require doctor supervision, and some of which people will be able to address ultimately as we move towards recreational or with CBDs in a method that doesn't require medical supervision. But there will also going to be a number of economic opportunities that come out of this as well. There will be opportunities for people to grow and process, as is taking place through our medical program, but there are going to be expanded opportunities for growing and processing. Senate Bill 350 envisions the opportunity for folks to have home grow and small grow. It envisions a world in which we have a diverse set of folks participating in the cannabis economy. There will be people who benefit from cannabis tourism, and there will be people who sell products that are ancillary accessories or other services. And we want to make sure that communities of color, small businesses, women-owned businesses, disadvantaged businesses, veterans, disabled, and others have an opportunity to participate. And too often communities of color, because of our relative limited position in society economically as a whole, are locked out of this industry. And we want to make sure that is not the case as we go forward. And finally, there is a social justice component to moving forward with decriminalization and legalization of cannabis. Right now, though, usage of cannabis is relatively constant amongst African Americans, Latinos, whites, and others. Blacks and Latinos are 4 to 5 times more likely to be subject to an encounter with law enforcement because of their use in Pennsylvania, and 5 to 6 times more likely nationally. It's hard to believe that at 4 to 5 times more likely to prosecute people for the same behavior, we're actually beating the national average in Pennsylvania. But it is an unacceptable injustice in the reality. And so moving towards legalization of recreational adult use will allow us to move past those disparities. And so we've got a lot to talk about and a lot of work to do. We're going to have a robust discussion with stakeholders from education to law enforcement, to folks in the community who want to grow, and people who have experience using. Former patients like my colleague, current patients like my colleague, Representative Rabb. But next I'll bring forward to you a man who has been championing the need to level the playing field on cannabis for a while, all the way back to his days as a councilman, and who has been a leader in the effort to decriminalize the cannabis use in terms of reducing the negative impacts on communities of color. He is the leader of the city of Philadelphia. He is our mayor, the Honorable Jim Kenny.
Thank you very much, Senator, and good morning to everyone. It's great to be here with you this morning. Our administration has always supported the legalization of cannabis. It is the right thing to do for our city and the Commonwealth. And as you know, Philadelphia has been a leader in decriminalizing the possession of small amounts of marijuana now for a number of years. As a member of City Council, we were proud to fight for and pass the legislation that made decriminalization possible. And in the years since, as this conference shows, cannabis can bring many economic opportunities to our communities. The emerging cannabis industry has the ability to create jobs and promote wellness, especially in communities of color, which unfortunately are impacted the most by biases in our justice system. Criminalization helps to address some of the racial and ethnic disparities that exist while allowing new, innovative industry to grow. Although we still need more support for legalization at the state level, we have the support of senators like Sharif Street and others in the legislature. We have also seen dispensaries gain approval across Pennsylvania, many of which are here in Philadelphia right now. These medical cannabis dispensaries are making treatments more accessible to patients in need, while also creating jobs and revenue that supports the growth and development of the city. While we still have much to do, gatherings like this remind us that we are moving in the right direction. I want to thank you for your continuing support to support the development of the industry in our city. And I just think it's somewhat hypocritical that a Commonwealth that promotes, sells, taxes, and controls alcohol has a totally disparate attitude towards cannabis, which is probably less impactful physically than the alcohol consumption. So I think that we need to come along with the rest of the country and more progressive states. I believe there's 17 or so now that are either have legalized or considering legalization, and the world is not falling apart. I know a lot of the people that I've talked to, who many are older, my age and older, who use it medically because of their pain, because of their depression, anxiety, and it's just another naturally, organically grown substance that's not chemically produced in a lab, that's not opioids. I mean, and think about that. Think about the ability, allowing the pharmaceutical industry and the medical industry, parts of the medical industry, to addict everyone to opioids through pain management arguments, telling people that it wasn't addictive when it absolutely was, and they're fine. But you know, a kid who happened to, before we passed legislation, happened to possess, you know, a little bit of marijuana, winds up getting handcuffed, transported, fingerprinted, photographed, and an arrest record for the rest of their lives. That's insane. So I commend our state legislators and our friends in the legislature for moving us forward. Hopefully we'll see the light and come along with the rest of the modern world. So good luck in your conference.
So first of all, I definitely want to say thank everyone for being here today. This is really, really outstanding. You know, when we set out to do this Cannabis Opportunities Conference, Desiree and I planned on having about 200 people, and we eventually ended up having close to 800 people attend the conference. So that just shows you how much of a need and how hungry people are for this information in this cannabis space. So the Diasporic Alliance for Cannabis Opportunities, DACO, is excited to host the 2019 Cannabis Opportunities Conference again here in Philadelphia at Temple University's Medical Education Research Building at 3500 North Broad Street. It is the first of its kind, a cannabis conference to focus on the opportunities in this space for marginalized communities, the same communities that have been stigmatized and criminalized for an industry that is emerging in states and countries around the world. DACO aims to open the dialogue in the areas of education, wellness, social justice, policy, entrepreneurship, and job development. Just here in our state alone, we have several universities that have emerged into the research space. We have the University of the Sciences, which now has an MBA program in cannabis. So we, as a region, have to start to become prepared for this conversation and looking to reduce some of the barriers that keep people from participating in conferences like this. We have aimed to have the Cannabis Opportunity Conference in a centralized location, North Philadelphia, close to public transportation. Most importantly, it is no cost to the attendees. So this two-day conference has 4 tracks, including hemp, wellness, economic opportunities, and education. And we are so thankful to our great partners like MoMed, Nottingham Farms. All of these are local companies here in the area. Beppo Farms, our organizations and nonprofits like Circle of Aunts and Aunts, Soulful Cannabis, All Together Now, Exclusive Wellness, Vets in the Hood, Beppo Farms, the Institute for Community Justice. Our conference is going to be packed with presenters, information, and exhibitors who will address the concerns of our community. We'll have expert workshops, expungement clinic, job fair, a film screening, marketplace, and more. So this is a conference that is not to be missed. If you are in this region or if you're not in this region, we're expecting people from California, Florida, Atlanta, and just throughout the country. But most importantly, we want to make sure that our local citizens here in this state are aware and that they attend this conference this year on September the 27th and the 28th. Thank you.
So next, I have the pleasure to introduce a friend and a colleague who is a real champion of this issue, of making sure that we deal with the disparities around sentencing, of making sure that we have access for patients, and of making sure that we remove some of the stigma around cannabis usage. Everything in Pennsylvania becomes law must go through both the House and the Senate. And so with no further ado, I introduce a true champion for cannabis legalization, a champion for social justice, my colleague, the Honorable State Representative Chris Rabb.
I'm State Representative Chris Rabb. I represent the 200th Legislative District of Pennsylvania, which covers 2.5 neighborhoods in Northwest Philly. I'm honored to be here, and I'm proud to be standing shoulder to shoulder with folks who believe in cannabis justice. What we're talking about is a plant. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about a plant. There are plants we don't need licenses or background checks to grow. And even though hemp, which is a form of cannabis that can't get you high, has been legalized on the federal level, you still need a license to grow it in Pennsylvania. And I was shocked to learn that as the Democratic Vice Chair of the House Agriculture Committee, you still need a background check to grow and to apply for the ability to cultivate a plant that cannot get you high. So this is where we are. But I have some good news, and I say this not as an optimist, but because I can read the proverbial tea leaves, and that is cannabis legalization is coming to Pennsylvania. I give it a 100% chance. It's not going to happen this term, though. It might happen next term, but it will happen soon. So for me, the issue is not whether or not it should come into existence. It should be state law. The question is, will it be impactful and will it be just? But one cannot exist without the other, because it may be of positive impact to wealthy white people. That does not move me. There are plenty of opportunities for rich white people to make money. This is an opportunity to heal. This is an opportunity to provide something that gets us away from opioids. This is something that allows us to take control of our own destinies on many fronts. So how the cannabis market looks like after it's legalized here is going to be the real test. Will it look like the city of Philadelphia? Will it look like the demography of Pennsylvania? If it doesn't, it is not just, and its impact will be severely lessened because we have not learned from other states and we have not learned from history. We need to make sure that local producers are at the table. All the things Senator Street has said. We need to make sure that all the stakeholders are at the table. We have to make this the case. For me, I am not concerned about the extraordinary amount of tax revenue that comes into the state. A lot of my colleagues who will support this in the years to come are going to be very excited because more money is coming into the coffers for more pet projects back home. That does not move me. We have to look at this from a perspective of public health, community safety, and community well-being broadly, not just for the people who consume this, whether they do it as consenting adults like they do any other thing that is legal, or whether they're part of a business or part of an organization that heals communities in innumerable ways. But if we stop talking about justice, if we stop talking about racial equity, we've already lost. So when we have conferences that are intentional in including everyone, that's how we make sure we achieve the victory we all deserve, because this has been outlawed for 80-some years because of racism. The very word marijuana is indoctrinated by white supremacy that scared white people from using a plant because they thought bad black and Mexican people were going to rape their women. That is the origin of our modern use of the word marijuana, which is why I use cannabis. So here we are, putting it all out. We can't be shy here. We have to acknowledge and accept that there will be dispensaries in our communities. We should embrace them. We should particularly embrace them if they are good community stakeholders who hire people who look like Philadelphia, irrespective of their background. Right now, if you have a criminal record, you can't make money off of it one way or the other. Same with hemp. We have to change those laws. That happens on the state level. It also happens on the federal level. But today we're talking about local and state. We're in City Hall. We're talking about collaborating with City Council, with the mayor, and with the state legislature. If we don't work together, if we don't communicate, if we don't collaborate, whatever is produced in Harrisburg, 100 miles from here, will not do us justice. So let's do the work. I encourage you all to come to the conference. I look forward to being there, and it is just the start of many wonderful things towards cannabis legalization in the state of Pennsylvania. Thank you.
The next person that we want to bring up is someone who has been doing a lot in our state, in our city, around connecting local as well as rural economies together. So I want to bring up Judy Wicks.
Thank you, Sharon. I got interested in this topic because of my outrage concerning the war on drugs. And back in my days at the White Dog Cafe, we had many programs on ending that war. Today, I'm working on the positive side of what we can build together. I've founded a new organization called All Together Now, and it's an effort to unite rural and urban populations around a shared vision for building regional economies that work for all of us, that build community wealth, and they're good for our environment as well. So we work in 6 different areas, like food and renewable energy, but 2 of those areas are hemp and plant medicine. We are working to build local supply chains that connect the rural farmers with urban entrepreneurs. We also have a advocacy aspect to our work called Proud Pennsylvania, in which we endorse, campaign for, and help to fund the campaigns of state legislators that are aligned with our vision. We also have a Proud Pennsylvania legislative working group in Harrisburg. Representative Rabb is a part of that working group to work on state legislation that helps to build these just, sustainable regional economies. We also work on connecting capital to entrepreneurs that are emerging in this field. And I have something called the Circle of Aunts and Uncles. And we provide small microloans at 3% interest for entrepreneurs that don't have family stage capital available to them so that they can get their businesses going. So I'm very excited about the upcoming conference. I'll be speaking there. I hope to see you all there. All together now.
Yeah, you know, like I said, last year we had close to 800 people attend the conference, and I got a chance to talk to some of those attendees, and I mean, some of the things that they said were just so heartwarming, just to know that they had never been in a space like this. They have never been able to be connected like this. And for a lot of people, it was a freeing moment. So this next person is with an organization here in Pennsylvania called Soulful Cannabis. And he's one of the people that I met, Jason Mitchell.
My name's Jason Mitchell. Truly blessed to stand in a group of such impactful human beings. PA, born and bred, Lehigh Valley kid, blue collar. My introduction to cannabis was as a patient about 10 years ago. Lived in Colorado. Woke up one day and wanted to realize what kind of impact I could have in my own home state. Started advocating, started in the Harrisburg area. Just a blue-collar kid who didn't know much, plugged in. Was lucky enough to meet along the journey in the last couple of years amazing people. To walk into the conference last year after my experience as part of a winning team of license holders in round one, was first to market in the area. Really amazing experiences. And to walk into that conference last year and know that I found my calling. It's time to step up and function in the community that looks like me and functions like me. So I'm here advocating from the beginning for accountability in this industry across all levels, for diversity in hiring, for inclusion. But we on a state level, we had to pass an application process that was merit-based. So we want to make sure those companies that made those statements to win those applications hold to those statements, and they are accountable to the diversity they showed in the beginning, and they are accountable to the incentives they said they were going to do in these communities that were in need. So I'm truly blessed to see, from my days starting in Harrisburg, this momentum of incredible groundswell and support from such talented and diverse people. And I'm honored to be part of that. And I will give everything I can, every day I can, to the cause, because it is my life. And I look forward to seeing you guys at the conference as well. It was hugely impactful in my personal life and my professional life, and I can't thank these people enough. I can't. Thank you very much.
Before our closing remarks, as everyone has expressed, it's been about healing, it's been about wellness, and today we are fortunate to have one of our veterans, someone from the veteran community. We actually have a couple of veterans here in the audience, and so we want to give them, you know, just an opportunity. So in brief, I want to just invite Sean Wilson from Vets in the Hood.
Thanking the Creator for life and for the will to serve all creation. I'm truly humbled to stand here today. This great panel of people is not just people of the panel, but they are family to us now, to myself now, and to every veteran, every first responder in the state of Pennsylvania, city, county, and Philadelphia. I stand before you as a suicide survivor, also as a 20-year Philadelphia police sergeant, as well as state correctional institution at Graterford Corrections Officer. Coming from this city where on May 13th, 1985, a bomb was dropped. My life changed forever that day. My wellness, my peace was crashed. And for a lot of years, I wore a mask. My mask comes off today. Percocet kills. I was injured on my position as a Philadelphia police sergeant after 15 years of undercover narcotics work. Percocet. I went through 4 shootings, didn't kill me. God bless me. And then Percocet ended my life, and I became a narcotics addicted person, just like the people that I was actually arresting in the streets of Philadelphia. So my heart aches today. This is no happenstance, because I sat on the side of my bed with my service revolver in my hand because of opioids. And for the love of my country, and for the sacrifices of my ancestors to do what's right. And as I look around the room at these pictures, I wonder, what can I do to leave a lasting mark like these men? It's to love on purpose. Wellness is your peace. It's my peace. I thank each and every last one of you for listening to me. Sharon, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I know I'm over 2 minutes. But a long time ago, my grandmother said, make the most of your opportunities, boy. And I'm going to continue to do that. I ask each and every last one of you to remember service equals success, and loving on purpose is a way of life. Thank you.
Wow. So we'll see how much this means to so many people, and the mitigation of the opioid component, which is so important. And I want to thank the brother for sharing and for not being afraid to talk about his trauma and his pain, because as we do this, we're going to help relieve the pain of others. With no further ado, I'm going to introduce a man who is a leader on this issue throughout the city of Philadelphia. He represents the entire city of Philadelphia as a member of city council. He has been a champion on social justice issues. He has been a champion on educating communities of color about how to do business in a variety of sectors. And he has saw fit to take leadership with the city of Philadelphia's interaction with cannabis, none other than the Honorable City Councilman at Large, Derek Green.
Good morning. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. I want to thank Sharon and Desiree for their leadership in bringing the second conference to City of Philadelphia Temple University, my alma mater. I had a chance to speak last year at the DACO conference. And when I think about the conference, and I was going to focus my remarks on the fact that this is going to be a $22 billion industry in a few years across the nation, at least $2 billion here in the Commonwealth Pennsylvania, and focusing on the opportunities from an economic development perspective, especially considering that we have a 26% poverty rate here in the city of Philadelphia. And so any opportunity we can talk about how we can bring especially people of color into a new industry is very important. So I was going to focus on that opportunity, but your words really touched me, because it's not just about the economic opportunity, but also about the wellness opportunity that you're bringing here to the city of Philadelphia and to the region. When I first got exposed to the whole concept of cannabis, it was actually through the lens of autism. Many people in this room know I have an 8-year-old son who's on the autism spectrum, and so I do a lot of work in the autism space. And talking with some of my contacts and colleagues in other parts of the country, I started to learn about how cannabis has really been helpful for their children and others who are dealing with the learning or physical difference of autism. And so when you talked about wellness and the impact it's had, especially from your background as a correctional officer and a police officer, that information needs to get out to more people. It's not just about the economic opportunities, but also the wellness opportunities. And so the work you're doing with DACO to really educate people in the city of Philadelphia, especially African Americans, people of color, is so important. So it's not just economic development opportunities, but it's also wellness opportunities. So the work that you're doing, all the partners here from Mayor Kenny, Senator Sharif Street for your leadership, State Representative Chris Rabb, Judy Wicks, all of the people coming here from a public and private sector, Commonwealth, City of Philadelphia, coming together to really provide more opportunities, not just for economic development, but also for health and wellness. And that's why this conference is so important. I'm glad I've been able to add my voice to this important discussion here in the City of Philadelphia. Thank you.
So I want to thank the councilman for his remarks. And so now we're going to open it up to a few questions, if there are any. Going once, going twice, going three times, no questions. I want to thank you all for showing up. Thank everyone for participating, and looking forward to seeing you. Please come out to the Cannabis Opportunities Conference at Temple University.
September the 27th and the 28th.
September 27th and 28th at the campus of the health systems. We'll see you there.